Hi Chelsea fans, Chels Daft here, back with a extended video today, and it's quite an interesting one, I have to say. Despite the fact that the hair's coming on great, COVID, hairdressers shut, let's not talk about it, but let's move back and focus on the football. Two players in mind I want to talk about, two current Chelsea squad members I want to talk about that have not been involved lately. And we're going to discuss the situation with their potential to play under Thomas Tuchel and what involvement they could have in the squad. And then three big names being linked with Chelsea in the summer, and it doesn't include Erling Haaland. So make sure you stay tuned to the whole video throughout to make sure you see all of the content. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already, but hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss when my videos come out. And without further ado, let's get cracking. So let's begin with the two players in the current squad that have not featured. First up, Kurt Zouma. Kurt Zouma has been outstanding for me. He's been outstanding and has developed over the last few years into a commanding centre-back that's a threat going forward as well as being imperious in the back line. There was obviously, we all had our doubts about him, we all had our worries and concerns about the ability with the ball at his feet. He's come on leaps and bounds, and he's been a mainstay for Frank Lampard up until towards the end when he was injured. Thomas Tuchel's come in, and you can understand why he's then reverted back to some experience. I spoke about it at the beginning of the season, or towards the beginning of the season when we'd lost a couple of games, saying we sort of need to go back to basics and get a more experienced back line just to settle things down and calm things down. That's what Thomas Tuchel decided to do by bringing Cesar Azpi back into the defensive line next to Tony Rudiger and Thiago Silva. That back three look as though that's probably implemented for the time being in stone when everyone's fit. Obviously, Thiago Silva picked up a knock in the game against Tottenham, stretching and making that fantastic clearance, and he was out injured for Sheffield United. Kurt Zouma was back in contention, but to be fair, Andreas Christensen come in against Tottenham, did well, and he did really well against Sheffield United the other night. Is it now the case that literally within the space of a month there's been a complete turnaround in the fortunes of Kurt Zouma? He's gone from arguably being right up there as a joint number one selection next to Thiago Silva to now fourth in line. And that's astonishing if that is the case. Zouma, as I say, one of our best players this season by far, nowhere to be seen now. Does he have a future under Thomas Tuchel? When Thiago Silva comes back in, he's going to go back into the team. The backup now seems to be Andreas Christensen. It's astonishing, really. And it's just something that I just thought I'd mention. Next up, Hakim Ziyech. And what was interesting for all of us was the fact that he was on the bench for the game at the weekend against Sheffield United and never come on. He'd been rested for Burnley or pulled away from the squad for the game against Burnley. And we heard that it was sort of understood that he was a real injury risk. He wasn't injured, but he was a risk of being injured and having a bit of a burnout. And they decided not to involve him at all, which is understandable. Against Tottenham, not involved, didn't come on. He was on the bench, didn't come on. And I just wonder what the situation is now going to be, because surely against Sheffield United it was the ideal opportunity for someone creative to come on and get hold of that ball when we needed them to, when we knew we would probably be under a bit more pressure from Sheffield United in the second half. Didn't happen. So where does that leave Hakim Ziyech, who played the first game under Tuchel against Wolves and expressed the fact that he was really sort of enjoying playing free in that number 10 floating rolling behind a striker? What's going to happen to Hakim Ziyech? I'm sure he's going to have a massive impact this season and beyond. And I'm sure that if push comes to shove and you want to play your best players, Hakim Ziyech will be there as one of the number 10s, who also will give you the option to just float out wide and fill in that side if we need him to. But where does it leave him at the moment? Because at the moment, you're seeing Mason Mount play well in that position. You've got Christian Pulisic fighting for that position as well. You've got Timo Werner if you're going to play with Tammy or Olivier Giroud. You've got Kai Havertz coming back in. Where does it leave? 4 players for 2 positions. Doesn't really fit, or at least 3 players for 2 positions. What do you think? Just let me know in the comment section below. Transfer news now, and there's 3 players being linked with Chelsea, And one of them's already been spoken about on this channel last week. According to Team Talk, Chelsea are in advanced negotiations with Bayern Munich defender Jerome Boateng to sign him on a free transfer at the end of this season. The 32-year-old defender has had a trophy-laden career with Bayern Munich, having moved there from Man City, and we all know he had Premier League experience back in the day with City. He's been a mainstay for Bayern. Can't agree a new contract. Looks as though he's going to leave. They could be faced with losing Boateng and Alaba, and surely you can't see Bayern Munich allowing that to happen. At the moment, it looks as though it could be, and Thomas Tuchel is believed to have been a fan of Boateng, and Chelsea could be looking to get a deal done. Having seen the success of Thiago Silva being of a certain age, maybe this whole sort of policy about over 30s might have changed a little bit, with Boateng being identified as a potential target. Interesting, this one. What do you think of Boateng? Do you think it'd be a good enough signing on a free to come in and bolster the options that we've already got? What happens to the players we've already got here? But let's move on to the other two. Next up, Upamecano. We've already spoken about him before. The 22-year-old defender, release clause will be 37 million. And according to the Star, is what you can see here, Roman Abramovich approves the deal and expect Chelsea to get negotiations underway to get it done in the summer. He's rated highly within Europe, and there's plenty of clubs in Europe looking to sign him. And if Bayern are going to lose two of the mainstay in their back four, they'll be looking at this guy as a potential replacement. However, there are reports indicating that Upamecano would favour a move to the Premier League rather than stay in the Bundesliga, and that's interesting. We're yet to see what's going to happen with this, but it seems as though there's substance in these reports. And Chelsea, if they have a chance to negotiate with Thomas Tuchel there, the law of the Champions League, the law of playing in London, you never know. What do you think of Upamecano and at Chelsea? Does he suit the Premier League? Would he suit Chelsea? Let me know in the comment section below. Finally, a bit of a surprise. Someone that's been linked with Chelsea back in the day and is now being linked with him again. It's 27-year-old Raphael Varane at Real Madrid. Now, his contract expires in the next season. It's believed that he's not keen to sign a new deal, looking for a potential new challenge. Real Madrid are trying to convince him to sign a deal, as reported by Marca, but it's believed that he's looking for a move away, wants to try a new experience in a different country. With that, the likes of Man United, Liverpool, big clubs throughout Europe and Chelsea are looking at Varane as a potential option, the third potential option at centre-back next season. We've already seen Boateng on a free, seen Upamecano for 37 million in his release clause. In the contract, Varane would be 50 million euros is what Real Madrid would be looking for this summer if they decide to sell him. What do you guys think of these three players being linked with Chelsea, and what does it mean for our current centre-halves? Thiago Silva, is interesting to see if he will sign a new year's extension. We've all seen reports that those talks have started, but he's spoken about Fluminense in Brazil. He still feels good, he still feels fit. He can probably still do a job next season in the Premier League. I just wonder if it's the fact that it's always been something that he wanted to do, playing the Premier League, to do it for a season and then go out sort of on a high, playing well, is maybe something that we just have to accept, and he will maybe move on to Fluminense at the end of this season in the summer. We've got Fikayo Tomori coming back from AC Milan. Will they sign him on a permanent deal? Hopefully not. Hopefully he comes back into the fold. You got Christensen, Rudiger and Zouma. It looks as though it could be a shake-up at the end of the season. I guess we have to wait and see. But what do you guys think of the current Chelsea defenders, of Tomori, and of the three centre-back options that are being linked with a potential move in the summer? Also, let me know what you guys think of what I've said earlier in the beginning of the video of Kurt Zouma and Hakim Ziyech and how they fit into Thomas Tuchel's plans, and where you now see Zouma in the comments section below. So if you've enjoyed this video, drop a like on the video for me, subscribe to the channel, but make sure you hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss when my videos come out. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, post your comments in the comments section, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.